Hello, Paul. Here's a retest on your carburetors, things that I've done. I've got the correct thread pitch screw in another bracket, but due to your throttle lever here being out of position, bent or something, I had to bend this up just a smidge in order to allow the throttle bracket to close completely, and then to allow for some adjustment here. And this one is similarly very far out. The lever is very close up here, which is fine. So they're about uniform. In other words, this was the butterfly that had some elasticity to it. I'm not sure why. I took this carburetor off, and I did shine a light through here, and ordinarily this butterfly in the first barrel closes completely. In this instance it didn't. It had some light coming around it, so I suspect that we have a bent butterfly or some imperfection, but it's from the factory, but nothing that we need to worry about now, because actually things run pretty well. So I've got the engine already warmed up, and hopefully I can make a video that you can actually see things when things are in focus. Now, an indicated 900 RPM on the tachometer, which I think actually is a little high. So I believe we might be running at an idle about 800-900 with occasional tweaks up to 1,000. So we're doing pretty well. Key issues here are back to our airflow. This is second barrel. Anything below 2 is great, and this one's below 2. And this one is right at 2, so we'll take that. Now then, as I mentioned to you before, what we do in order to tune these things is we will disconnect the throttle linkage, so these are running independently of each other. So now you just have to be careful not to allow one throttle to open up artificially and over rev the engine. And now we're going to check our airflow, and we're right at 4, which is pretty damn nice, very nice. What we want to do is obviously duplicate it down here, and I've already adjusted these, so now we're at 4.5. So let's back this off just a smidge. See if that'll do it. Nope, this is the one that does not want to change unless you pull really hard on the linkage. See, I think we got bent butterflies. What I think, it's not worth worrying about. So what we're going to do is, that's in a natural state is about 4.5. So let's go over here, do this to 4.5. There we go. Didn't adjust the idle a great deal. Now we will snap our throttle back in place. Our linkage just back in place, and again making sure that nothing changes. Now that changed, so let's see what we did here. That's what the turnbuckle is for, so you can adjust this just exactly where you need it and snap it in place. Alright, now we're going to go back to our idle mixture screws. Sorry about that. Double check on them. Everything's an integrated system, so when you make adjustments elsewhere, you make them someplace else downstream. Now we're starting to degrade a little bit, so let's back off. RPM is picking up. Starting to degrade, the engine's going to shake a little bit, so let's go back. Seems about right. Starting to degrade right there. And it's degrading. And you're welcome to adjust these things. Remember, these are adjusted for my engine. So when you get it on your engine, you need to adjust these for your engine, for the airflow that your engine is producing. And you can't hurt anything. If you ever get them so screwed up out of adjustments you can't do anything with them, what you do is you screw them down until they just barely touch, back them out 1.5 turns, and then you start the engine and get it warmed up and start adjusting. These are always snug, so they're down, but just snug to where you can just lick a little light pressure. You don't want to crank down on them. So now our idle has gone up a smidge because we got that air fuel mixture a little bit better. Let's see if we can back off on these idle screws, see if they will respond, or if the butterflies are too closed already. So I'm going to do this a quarter turn. Truth of the matter is, that's not even touching. That one's not even touching because of the butterfly condition. So let's go over here. Now let's check. See if this one will back off a little bit. Push up on our throttle. Once again, we will disconnect so we are running independently. Let's go back and check our airflow. Right at 4. I'm going to hold up on the rod here, make sure linkage is seated, but I'm not pulling up on it artificially. And you see we're at about 4 1/4. Just for fun, let's see if anything will change here. I'll back that off just a smidge. Yeah, look at that. And almost down to 4. Almost down to 4. We're going to call that seriously good. Hook things back up. Again, we got a RPM about 1,000 or so. Alright, RPM is up a smidge. Alright, let's see where that's coming from. Probably I'm going to guess the second barrels. So what we're going to do is going to push on our second barrel, counterweight. And see how we drop that down like that? Down to below 1,000. So that's where your second barrel leakage is coming from. But considering the amount of wear on these carburetors, I think they're really pretty good operators. I'm surprised. Let's try a hot start. not bad at all. Another thing we've been checking, I've been doing while we've been testing and letting them sit, is checking for leakage underneath here. Let's take the camera off. Don't want to see any leakage underneath here. So far, none. Nothing here. Looking good here. Alright, let's get the flashlight and look inside the throats. What you don't want to see is drippage coming from any drippage coming from. Let's see if I can get this all at one time here. Do not want to see drippage coming from this check valve as it sits here and idles. I'm not sorry, the auxiliary pump discharge nozzle. Don't want to see anything coming out of there. Same here. Nothing coming out of there. Want to see the throats basically dry, which they are. That throat way down inside there is basically dry. Fuel comes out of here and gets drawn into the throat, and also shoots out here. You don't want any fuel just sitting around in there. Alright, nothing dripping, nothing dripping. I would say, considering how loose everything is, those are acceptable carburetors, and I think you'll be able to use them as is. Thanks.